Section 1. The ultimate paradox. Do you want to create yourself or destroy your ego? This single question completely divides the West and the East. Think about it carefully. Nietzsche tells you to become a powerful creator. He wants you to build a strong destiny. On the other side, Zen tells you to become nothing at all. It wants you to dissolve into the quiet universe. They look completely opposite, don't they? It feels like a choice between fire and ice. But here is the absolute shocker. They both want the exact same thing for your life. They are fighting the very same enemy. That enemy is the heavy weight of social conditioning. They both want you to escape from other people's expectations. They want you to break free from values you did not choose. Think about your own life for a moment. Who decided your goals? Did you choose them, or did society choose them for you? Western ambition and Eastern stillness actually share the same deep root. They both demand absolute freedom for your mind. One tells you to fight. One tells you to let go. But the destination is exactly the same. This video is not just a standard history lesson. It is a manual for your personal freedom. We are going to blend Western drive with Eastern peace. This combination will give you a rare kind of strength. It is a mental model for modern leaders and thinkers. Before we dive deep into the grand philosophy, I have a quick question for you. Look at your own background and upbringing. Which approach feels more natural to your culture? Do you lean toward active self-creation or quiet self-reflection? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let us start a fascinating conversation today. Section 2. Nietzsche and the Prison of Society. Let us travel back to 19th century Germany. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche looked at the world around him. He did not like what he saw. He observed the crowds in the cities. He watched people going to church. He noticed a deep, worrying pattern. People were not thinking for themselves at all. They were simply following old religious rules. They were copying the behavior of their neighbors. Nietzsche invented a famous term for this mindset. He called it the slave morality. This does not mean physical slavery. It means mental slavery. It describes people who look outside for approval. They let society decide what is good and what is bad. They take the easy path of the crowd. They do this because standing alone is terrifying. Now, let us fast forward to the present day. Look around your own digital environment. The landscape has changed, but the prison remains the same. Today, we do not just follow old religious dogmas. Instead, we follow social media algorithms. We chase after likes, views, and digital validation. We copy the lifestyles of online influencers. We measure our worth by our job titles and salaries. We constantly tell ourselves that we are free. We think we live in a golden age of choice. But are we actually free, or are we just high-tech versions of Nietzsche's crowd? We are trapped in a subtle, invisible prison. It is a prison built from other people's expectations. We spend our limited energy climbing ladders we did not build. We achieve goals that we do not even care about. Nietzsche saw this trap coming from a mile away. He knew that social conformity destroys the human spirit. It turns unique individuals into boring copies. He wanted people to wake up from this collective dream. He wanted them to break the bars of the social cage. Section 3. Zen and the Art of Unlearning. Now, let us turn our eyes completely to the East. Let us enter the quiet world of Zen. For hundreds of years, Zen masters were fighting the exact same battle as Nietzsche, but they used a very different strategy. Zen is not a typical religion. It does not ask you to memorize heavy holy books. It does not ask you to collect more information. In fact, Zen is the exact opposite. Zen is the ultimate art of unlearning. It is about deleting the rules that society forced into your brain. To understand this, we must look at a famous radical saying in Zen. The old masters used to say, "If you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him." This sounds incredibly shocking, doesn't it? After all, the Buddha is the ultimate symbol of peace and wisdom. Why would anyone want to kill him? But this teaching contains a deep psychological truth. It means you must not depend on any external authority. You must not even depend on a perfect holy teacher. If you worship an image of the Buddha, you are still trapped by an illusion. You are chasing someone else's definition of enlightenment. You are looking outside yourself for answers. Zen wants you to destroy all your intellectual attachments. It wants you to strip away your social titles. Think about your own life. Who are you without your job title? Who are you without your bank account or your fancy clothes? Most people cannot answer this question. They are too attached to their social identity. Zen calls this identity the ego. The ego is like a thick layer of dust on a mirror. It blocks your true nature. Zen does not want to teach you anything new. It simply wants to wipe away the dust. It wants to clear your vision completely. Section 4. The shared enemy invisible chains. Now, we can clearly see the hidden bridge between these two worlds. Can you see the connection building? Nietzsche wanted to create the Übermensch, which means the overman. This is a person who creates their own values from absolute scratch. They do not accept the morals of the crowd. On the other side, Zen wants you to achieve Mushin, the empty mind. This is a mind completely free from social labels, anxiety, and attachments. On the surface, they look like complete opposites. Nietzsche looks like maximum ego, and Zen looks like zero ego. But look closer. Both philosophies hate one specific thing above all else. They absolutely despise invisible chains. They both look at the modern professional and give the exact same warning. You must step away from the game that someone else created for you. When you live by society's rules, you are playing a rigged game. You are running on a treadmill that never stops. If you win, you only win what society values. You do not win your true self. Nietzsche and Zen are both radical rescue missions for your mind. They want to wake you up from the collective trance of modern life. They both understand a fundamental truth about human nature. You cannot find your own path while you are walking in someone else's footsteps. You cannot hear your own voice, while the noise of the crowd is ringing in your ears. Their starting point is identical. They both demand that you clear the stage of your life. You must remove the external directors before you can start the real performance. They both want you to become the absolute master of your own inner world. Section 5. Addition versus subtraction. However, we must look at how their methods are beautifully different. This is where the true cultural contrast appears. The West generally loves the art of addition. To be free in the Western tradition, you must add power. You must add wealth, and you must project your strong will onto the world. This approach is very much like creating a beautiful marble sculpture. You start with nothing, and you build your identity up piece by piece. You shape the environment around you to fit your grand vision. On the other hand, the East, and especially Japan, loves the art of subtraction. To be truly free in the Zen tradition, you must remove the heavy clutter. You do not add things to your soul. Instead, you delete the artificial ego until only your true core remains. This approach is very much like a Japanese Zen garden. You do not fill the space with giant colorful flowers. You take away everything unnecessary until only the silent stones and raked gravel remain. True beauty and strength appear through this emptiness. So, we have two different paths to the same goal. Nietzsche wants you to become a powerful author who writes a grand story. Zen wants you to become a quiet poet who appreciates the silent spaces between the words. Nietzsche wants you to master the world by conquering your fears. Zen wants you to master the world by letting go of your need to control it. One philosophy expands your presence, while the other philosophy deepens your absence. Both paths are incredibly beautiful, and both paths lead to absolute mental autonomy. Section 6. The burnout trap. Here is a very critical question for you. Why are so many modern leaders and high achievers burning out today? They follow Nietzsche's path perfectly. They focus on endless growth and constant self-creation. They push harder, they work longer hours, and they try to control every single outcome. They want to be the ultimate creator of their own destiny. But if you only use addition, your life becomes dangerously heavy. Without the wisdom of Zen, the path of self-creation becomes a golden trap. Constant pressure eventually destroys your inner peace. You cannot build a grand empire if your inner foundation is crumbling. This is exactly where many Western professionals get stuck. They have the drive, but they do not have the space to breathe. They have the ambition, but they lack the silence. We desperately need a healthy balance between Western drive and Eastern release. We need the power to build, but we also need the power to let go. Think about your own career and daily routine for a moment. How do you manage your high levels of stress? Do you prefer active, goal-setting and aggressive action to solve your problems? Or do you prefer quiet meditation and stepping back to find perspective? Which cultural style helps you survive the heavy pressure of modern business? Please share your personal experience in the comments below. I really want to know how you protect your mental energy in this fast world. Section 7. The Symphony of Ego and Emptiness. When we combine Nietzsche and Zen, something truly magical happens. They stop fighting, and they form a perfect symphony. To understand this, think of your mind as a glass container. Right now, your container is completely full of dirty water. This dirty water represents other people's opinions, social media comparisons, and outside anxieties. You cannot add anything useful to a glass that is already full. This is where Zen comes to save you. Zen helps you pour out that dirty water. It clears the entire space inside your mind. It returns you to zero. It gives you a clean, empty glass. But you cannot leave the glass empty forever. An empty life has no direction or purpose. This is exactly where Nietzsche enters the picture. Nietzsche gives you the raw fuel to pour in your own pure water. He gives you the passion to design your own destiny. First, you use the power of Zen to empty your mind of external noise. Then you use the power of Nietzsche to create your life from within. This is the ultimate hybrid mental model for the modern world. You do not have to choose between Eastern peace and Western drive. You need both to become a complete human being. Zen provides the clear canvas, and Nietzsche provides the bold paint. Without Zen, your painting is messy and chaotic. Without Nietzsche, your canvas remains completely blank. By combining them, you gain a unique kind of inner strength. You become both deeply peaceful and incredibly powerful at the very same time. Section 8. The metaphor of the sculpture and the canvas. To look at these two intellectual traditions is to witness a profound contrast in human creativity. They reveal two entirely different ways of experiencing existence. The Western mind, which heavily influenced Nietzsche, has long operated on the principle of construction. It treats life like a block of marble. The individual is a sculptor, using a heavy hammer to carve their own image upon the world. Every line, every muscle, and every detail must be actively forced into reality by the strength of the human will. It is a philosophy that views greatness as a beautiful monument, built from the bottom up. In stark contrast, the Japanese Zen tradition treats existence not as a block of stone, but as a dynamic silk canvas. Freedom here is not achieved by adding heavy strokes of paint to fill the empty space. Instead, it is found by recognizing the supreme beauty of the blank canvas itself. Zen paths do not ask the individual to build a giant monument of the ego. They invite the person to look through the illusions of identity, peeling away social layers until they reach the clean, original mind. Therefore, the confrontation between Nietzsche and Zen is a dialogue between the architect and the wind. One wants to build a permanent tower that can withstand the storm. The other wants to become the storm itself, moving effortlessly through the world without leaving a trace. One finds meaning in the active expression of the self, while the other finds liberation in the profound realization that the self was a social fiction all along. It is here, at this precise boundaries of thought, that the concepts of Western individuality and Eastern emptiness begin to illuminate each other. Section 9. The anatomy of power and detachment. When we dissect the core mechanics of these philosophies, we discover a fascinating psychological paradox. Nietzsche's thought is powered by what he termed the will to power. This is the internal drive to grow, to overcome decay, and to master one's environment. In his worldview, a human being achieves their highest state when they embrace their passions fully and channel them into grand, creative acts. It is a philosophy of pure, intense engagement with reality, where even pain and suffering are welcomed as necessary ingredients for human greatness. The Zen masters, however, observed the human condition from a fundamentally different vantage point. They saw that the endless drive to master the environment is precisely what traps the mind in a cycle of suffering. For Zen, the ultimate tragedy is not weakness but attachment. When a person clings too tightly to their creations, their titles, or their desires, those very things become heavy chains. The Zen path offers liberation by teaching the mind to observe reality without the urgent need to possess it. Yet, when these two opposing forces cross paths, they do not destroy each other. They create a unique intellectual tension. Nietzsche provides the intense energy needed to initiate movement, while Zen provides the spacious stillness needed to remain unstained by the outcome. Nietzsche prevents Zen from becoming cold. Apathy, and Zen prevents Nietzsche from devolving into blind arrogance. It is a rare mental territory where a person can engage with the world with maximum intensity while remaining completely detached from the results. They can participate in the grand drama of life with full passion, yet know in their deepest core that the stage is ultimately empty. Section 10. The confluence of peak and valley. Ultimately, the dialogue between Nietzsche and Zen shows us that human wisdom is never a single, straight line. It is a map of opposing forces. Nietzsche points toward the lonely mountain peak, His philosophy demands that we ascend into the thin air of ultimate responsibility, where we must invent our own light in a world without gods. Zen points toward the profound silence of the deep valley. Its tradition invites us to dissolve the separate self entirely, finding peace not in the conquest of reality but in absolute harmony with it. The Western seeker often views these as two mutually exclusive paths, believing that one must choose either the total affirmation of the ego or its complete dissolution. But the intellectual heritage of Japan suggests a different possibility. It demonstrates that the highest form of maturity is the ability to navigate both spaces simultaneously. It is the capacity to carry the fierce, creative fire of the individual while remaining anchored in the vast, silent ocean of emptiness. Understanding life through Japan. This channel is an exploration of those rare moments in history where different cultures arrive at the same essential truths about the human spirit. The conflict between creating the self and abandoning the self is dissolved when we realize that both paths require us to first walk away from the crowd. Whether one chooses to carve their name into stone or to let it dissolve into the wind, the initial step remains identical. It is the courageous departure from the values of others and the quiet return to the authentic depths of human consciousness.